Hey there, welcome back to your last budget launch. I'm Dr. Haley, and we are going to go over how to get started with setting up your zero debt budget spreadsheet. So let's talk about what all of these tabs are. The first tab, you actually can't do anything. You won't be able to type on this or change anything. This tab is the entire purpose is that if you are out in the store shopping and you want to check your budget, this is the easiest way to see it on your phone. So if you pull this up, you'll see it's like a really narrow column here, right? And it fits your phone screen a lot better. So your categories will all autofill in here, and whatever is left in your category will show up here. So if you were like, oh, I'm out, clothes shopping, I wonder what's left in my clothing budget. It will show right here, and you can see this from like the Google Drive app on your phone. Our next tab is all about tracking accounts. So these are things that are not like in your budget, on your budget. These are things that are going to be either assets or investments, liabilities or mortgages. So most commonly, we're talking about if you have an asset like your Roth IRA and you're not budgeting that money, you're just saving it off your budget, and you want to track how that balance is doing over time. You also might have your mortgage in here because maybe, yes, I know it's a debt, but a lot of people are just focused on paying down credit cards and car loans, and the mortgage is like a separate thing. So you're tracking your balance on your mortgage over time. So that is what this is for, and there will be another video that goes into this in depth. Now let's take a look at the planning page. This is where you will spend a lot of time mapping out your budget. And the next tab that we will get to is your actual budget. So the planning page is always step one each month. And then your budget is what you actually use to track your expenses. This might look like there is a lot going on here, and there is a lot going on behind the scenes, but just know that after a month or two of this, it's going to be so easy. You're going to know exactly where everything is. A very important thing to know is that anything that is in this light gray color, this background, is something you can type on. If you try to type on something that it has like a white background or a colored background, if I try to type a number there, I'm going to get an alert. And that's just telling me that there is a formula in that cell and I should not be changing it. So the way to get around this, or the way to, if you accidentally do this, you say, oh, cancel, I don't want to do that. So don't overwrite the formulas or the spreadsheet won't work. So if you see gray, you can go ahead and type on it. In this video, I am just showing you how all of the different tabs work together. We're not going into how to actually use them. Those will be separate videos. So this is how you plan out your month. And then once you've done your initial plan, you're going to move over to your budget tab. And this is what you will use throughout the month. Now to show you the big picture, I am going to zoom way out. Let's go even smaller so you can see the colors. You're not supposed to be able to read it. You're just looking at colors right now. So information stats will show up at the top, and then the orange section over here is all about your bank accounts and your credit cards and loans. It's all your current numbers that reflect what is in your bank account right now. Now this does not like connect to your bank account. There's no link going on. It's just based on the number that you put in initially. So it's going to calculate based on, like, if you put in, I had $500 in my checking account when I started, it will then change that number based on what you spent and the money you earned, and that number will update throughout the month. Down here, we have transfers and debt payments in purple. So every time you move money in the real world, like you go to your bank app or you go to your bank and you move money from checking to savings or from savings to checking, or you pay a credit card or you pay a car loan. So you move money from checking to your credit card as a payment. That is where you log all of that in purple. The other component of that, money leaving your account, is in pink. That is typical spending. So you go to the grocery store and you swipe your debit card, or you pay cash, or you might even swipe your credit card knowing that you're going to pay it off later, or maybe you just can't, right? If you are spending money, that's going to go in pink. And so we're going to go over this much more in depth, but I'm just giving you the big picture. Green is new money that's coming in. So if you get paid, or if somebody, is giving you money toward a bill, something like that, that's going to show up in green. The middle section is what I call the teal section. So this is your monthly budget, and this is, we'll go over how this works, but this is where you're going to be assigning money to budget categories. And at the very bottom of all of the sections, down here, is a box of stats. So this is going to tell you how much you've assigned this month, how much you've spent this month, the amount of money you've spent as a percentage of what you receive each month. So like you've spent 30% of your monthly income, how much you have left to fund in your categories. That's all right there. Up here, this copies over the calendar from the other page. This will show you, this will light up in purple with the dates of your expected paychecks. So you can remember, oh yeah, my next paycheck is coming on March 21st or whatever it is. This will be a chart or graph, that like a pie chart, that will show your monthly spending, just so you can see like as kind of like a percentage of your total, how much went out in monthly expenses or sinking funds or whatever it is. This one in blue is if you do returns or refunds. So let's say you bought something from an online store and then you ended up returning it. You're going to use this section and fill that out so that the money comes back into the right spot in your budget. Cover overspending. If you overspend a category, let's say you budgeted $50 for clothes and you spent $65. You're going to be short by $15. So you can move money from a category that has money still and cover it, and it will zero it out in your budget. All right, let's jump over to your bank account tabs. You'll notice that there are 8 bank accounts at the bottom, followed by the debts. This is the spreadsheet that has 12 debts. There's another one that has 20. You choose the option that is best for you. So we are looking at Bank 1. Now, when you do this first without having entered the bank name, you will see these lists of numbers. Those will disappear when I go back, and I'm just going to type in, checking account so that you can see how this works. And I'm going to say that we have a starting balance of $25.41. When I jump over to the Bank 1, I know this is pretty small, so let's see what we can do. You'll see that it says checking account because that's what I typed in, and then you'll see the running account balance is this. As I spend money in pink, or this includes your purple section as well, or I receive money, so this is income or refunds or credits or whatever, those things will auto-populate in these white boxes. Remember, you can't type on white. The only thing you can do here is check off if something cleared the bank and make a note about it. Like say you wrote a check for something, or say, need to be reimbursed by so-and-so. You can make a note. So every bank account and every debt is going to look the same. So once again, these numbers will disappear once you put in the name on the previous page. I'll show you how all of that works. So this is going to match up with your credit card. So let's say this was your Discover credit card. Whatever your cleared balance is on your Discover app when you log in should match to the penny to this number. And I'll show you how all of that works. Now, we are going to scroll over. I'm just hitting the scroll wheel on my mouse and the tabs will slide over. You could also use the arrows. The only other things here to point out are you have a month-end review. This looks like a lot is going on. But if you click here for the video, it's going to walk you through the entire process. This is what you use if we were going from March to April. Because what's going to happen is the sections in here, notice how my checking account is showing up with the balance. This would be my ending balance if today was the last day of the month. And I would be copying this information over into my next spreadsheet for April. So I don't have to manually type anything in. So this will be your ending balance for your categories if you wanted to copy them over exactly. So we'll go through all of that. The year-end data, you don't even need to touch this. This is just collecting where you end up, like at the end of March. Your category groups will show up here. Any tracking accounts will show up here. This is showing the net worth at the end of the month because that's the only thing I put in. So if this will be useful at the end of the year when you want to look back, and I will be sharing out a spreadsheet that lets you kind of just paste these numbers in and see your graph for the year. All right, so now that you have the big picture overview of what's included on all these tabs, we are going to jump into the next video where you are going to get started with your planning page.